Hey guys, today I want to talk about something a bit more serious. It's about representation of plus size characters in animation. Any offensive and negative comments will be removed, as I do not want any of that on my channel. This video is to also spread awareness about how plus size people are portrayed. Please do not go and harass anyone mentioned in this video. So, let's get started. I am a plus-size girl, and when I was younger, I was really insecure, mostly because people at school call me mean stuff. Not a lot of the mean stuff was about my body, but some was, and that really made me insecure. Which is why in some of my art, I drew myself as kind of skinnier than I usually am, mostly because of insecurity. But then I started to love myself more, as it's my body and I should love myself. And I would highly recommend that you all do that as well. So I really love when animation makes some plus-sized characters. My favorite is Red Shoes and the Seven Dwarfs. I think it's amazing representation. It doesn't portray her plus-sized look as ugly or less beautiful. She feels real, and like she could be like a real person with real feelings. And even when she has the red shoes and has this skinnier body, she is so comfortable as the way she is. I also love that they gave her strength. She eats because that's human, but she isn't portrayed as gluttonous. I love this representation, and I love this movie. Now, time for the reason I made this video. There is a YouTuber called AJ the Wild Wolf. She is basically rewriting the show Hazbin Hotel into her own show called Bed and Breakfast for Former Baddies, which honestly sounds pretty cool. In fact, I'm making my own passion project, like a little indie show on YouTube called Sails Across the Pentagram, which is inspired by Hazbin Hotel, but the writing and story is different. If you want to know more about it or want to be a part of the project, I am looking for animators and extra writers. I have an account on Instagram for this, and you can go check that out. It's called SATP Official. So anyways, AJ has some Hazbin Hotel redesigns for her show, and they are really good. She is such a talented artist, but there's one that kind of bothers me. Hazbin Hotel has a character named Mimsy. I like her design. I think she is really cute. I also love that she is plus-sized. She is way different from the main characters because of it, and that's why I kind of respect this design. Now, she looks human, but she is meant to be based off of a chicken. I don't think AJ knew this, which I don't blame her. She doesn't really have any chicken qualities to her, and what AJ said was pretty true. All the men get to be cool animals like cats, spiders, deers, while the women are more humanoid. Personally, Sails Across the Pentagram will have some male and female human characters and some male and female animal characters, so I can balance it. So she made Rosie into a fish. I forgot what fish it was, but it was a fish. She made Cherry Bomb into a dog. Those two are cool, but there's Mimsy. Her redesign isn't bad at all, but she made Mimsy into a hippo, an animal that is known to have a bigger body. Don't get me wrong, this artwork is absolutely adorable and amazing, but the fact that she's a hippo really, really bothers me. Plus-sized people are often compared to other bigger animals in a way that mocks them, and having Mimsy as a hippo really just rubs me the wrong way. Like, I don't think it's mean-spirited, but it just makes me uncomfortable. I decided to make a comment talking about this to her, and I wanted to be honest and respectful. I want to share something honestly and respectfully. I feel uncomfortable and bothered about Mimsy being a hippo. Hippos aren't inherently bad animals, but they are known to have bigger bodies. Even today, large people, especially women, have been compared to bigger animals in ways that were to mock them. Since Mimsy is a plus-size woman, and I'm plus-sized myself, this makes me uncomfortable. I'm sure you have good intentions, but making her an animal with a bigger body feels like a stereotype. Your art is amazing, and I'm not telling you what you should or shouldn't do, but I just wanted to express how it personally makes me feel. If you're reading this, thank you for your time, and I wish you a great day. I think I was pretty mature. She found my comment and she replied to it. I don't know how much you listened to her concept and story, but I made her a hippo for precisely that reason. Every sinner design is created by Lucifer with the specific goal in mind of making them miserable. Mimsy died from anorexia, so he made her a hippo, a creature that appears fat but is actually mostly muscle, to make her hate herself even more and make it impossible for her to achieve the body type she wants. Which, yeah, that kind of makes sense. I'm glad that she thought about this, but something still wasn't right to me, but it never hit me yet, so I responded, I'm sorry, that's my fault, but I just wanted to tell you about how I feel about it, even when it is the backstory you gave her. Even after I replied, I still felt like something wasn't right about her response. But then she said this. Some art is meant to make you uncomfortable. I really don't like this reply. She isn't really wrong. Some art is meant to make you uncomfortable. But the problem here is that it doesn't address why I'm uncomfortable. It feels like she's shrugging off my feelings, which I'm not saying that she is, but it feels like it, you know? Plus-size people have been compared to bigger animals, and hippos are one of them. I like the story that AJ gave Mimsy of her dying from anorexia and how Lucifer made her into an animal with a rounder body, so it's impossible for her to get the body she wants. But for me, I think there are better alternatives that isn't a hippo, like a hamster or a koala, a panda, or even the chicken idea. There are other animals that can communicate the same thing, but not be like what I'm described about the hippo idea. I'm not saying that she has to do these ideas, but to me it feels less uncomfortable than the hippo did. Some of you are probably wondering, it's a fictional character, why does it matter so much? It matters because representation isn't just adding a plus-size character or a character with color or a character that is part of LGBTQ+, but it's about how they are presented. not a lot of people really like Princess and the Frog that much because Tiana got turned into a frog for almost the entire movie. It sounds fun, like her being turned into a frog with Naveen as they adventure a world bigger than them. That sounds cool, until you think about it. Tiana is Disney's first black princess, and turning her into a frog for almost the entire movie feels really disrespectful. I love Princess and the Frog, and I think Tiana as a frog is super cute, but I do agree that I wish she was a human a bit longer, or wasn't turned into a frog at all. It's little things like this that ruins the representation. Even if you have good intentions, you need to be careful about representations and make sure it doesn't feel like a stereotype. If you look up on screen right now, then you might notice that I'm doing one character, and he is for the show Sails Across the Pentagram. His name is Barrow. He is a Mexican character who died in Mexico, and I am not stereotyping him. I'm not sure if you can see it, but he has these markings on his face, and they are to represent Mexican skeletons, and that is to show representation of the Day of the Dead, something that is in Mexican culture. And making him into a bull isn't random. He was a bullfighter from the 1850s, and he died from a bull. So his design ties into his culture and how he died. Now, I'm glad that AJ never said anything rude or hurtful to my comment. Like, that's really mature. I like that. But it doesn't address the elephant in the room. Does she care? I'm not calling her selfish or a bad person, but I would appreciate it if she said something like, "I understand your feelings," or "Thank you for opening up about this." Her reply was explaining the creative choice behind the design, but it doesn't really acknowledge how I feel about it. This doesn't mean that she doesn't care. I hope she does care. I just wish that she recognized my perspective on this. Some of you guys are probably calling me a hypocrite and saying, but Cloudtree, you made a cow character into a plus-sized character. Why can't AJ do the same? Well, let me explain why. In my shorts recently, I decided to make some Gamer Dupe Five Nights at Freddy's character concepts into humans. And yes, there is a cow character called Daisy the Dairy Cow. And yes, my artwork of her is a plus-sized girl. However, I didn't make her plus-sized because she's a cow. I made her plus-sized for body diversity. My design of Daisy is a human interpretation, and when people translate animals into humans, they often explore different body types for that character. My intention isn't to stereotype her as a cow human character, but it's to include body diversity into my fan art. And plus, she's super cute. Look at her. I agree with her point that art is meant to make you uncomfortable. But this is representation we are talking about. Most specifically, body representation for this context. Uncomfortable art can be stuff like mental health, but representation of different bodies shouldn't be uncomfortable at all. It should be normal. And personally, I don't like using the word fat. For me, it's used as a negative way to call plus-sized people, and I don't want it to be negative, so yeah, I don't like using that word. Overall, stereotypes are awful, and plus-sized people should be represented more carefully. I'm sure AJ has good intentions, but the fact that Mimsy is turned into a hippo in that art really made me uncomfortable. And I'm not saying that AJ is a bad person. I don't think she is. I don't think she is. But part of me doesn't want to subscribe to her after those responses that she gave me. I hope her project of bed and breakfast for former baddies goes well. I hope it succeeds, but I will not be subscribing to her channel after that conversation between us. I'm not telling you guys to stop supporting her. That is completely your choice. I just don't feel comfortable with how she drew Mimsy. I'm not just saying all of this towards AJ, but to anyone. If you ever draw plus-size characters or characters with dark skin or any LGBT characters, please be more careful with the designs, as it can accidentally fall into stereotypes and make some people uncomfortable. From now on, when I draw myself, I will be honest with my weight. Like, I won't draw myself as this skinny version of me. My little persona character, as you saw in the thumbnail, she's going to be more plus sized now. Hopefully I won't talk about something this serious anymore, because I want to go back to my fun content. I just wanted to get this off my chest. And remember to love yourself, guys. Bye!